Threats to the U.S. homeland no longer consist of a large-scale troop invasion. Increasingly, enemies of the United States seek vulnerabilities for attack using chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, and high-yield explosive weapons. The National Guard's civil support teams are the highly trained units standing ready to respond to one of these disasters.
I was quite nervous going into it because, like I said, I had very little science, chemistry, any kind of background like that. All the different training that they give you, it's so much fun. The people you meet, the things you learn. I think it's one of the greatest National Guard jobs that there is because you get to focus on your job. You get to train it every day.
We don't know exactly the location of this dispersal device, so we're going to do a 360 site care of the room and try to locate that device.
Being the CST, we're a 22-person AGR unit, which is very unique, so we get to know our teammates very well. And what it comes down to is trust and knowing that everyone's really good at their job. Knowing that it's very dangerous, you know, that's always in the back of my mind. And that's kind of why we do train. We get in suit every week and we make sure we're ready.
Screams for help were heard on Friday the 13th during the Homeland Response Force Region 10 certification exercise in Spokane, Washington. More than 600 Washington National Guard soldiers and airmen tested their skills during the week-long disaster relief training.
This training is to give us the realistic of a real-world incident, to show that we can actually take care of the community if something does happen. So these guys realized, yeah, this can happen to us. It did. We stepped up, took care of the community of Oso, and hey, this can happen. I was there. We need to take it seriously.
Lessons learned during the Oso mudslide help show how important training like this is.
One thing we've learned from Oso that made this training more serious was actually being a part of a real-world mission, really put perspective on our younger troops.
The Homeland Response Force conducts training scenarios like this to ensure its soldiers and airmen experience as close as possible to real-world conditions.
This here that we do, especially in part of the National Guard, allows us to really interact with the community and give us a sense of being, especially with the recent incident like Oso.
The most realistic part of this training is when you have to put on the suit and the PAPR mask and you have to perform search and extraction, and it becomes very difficult out there.
The HRF was evaluated on factors such as time efficiency, safety, communication, and performance. Part of the HRF's evaluation is to set up their operation site, triage, decontamination, and treat a certain number of victims within a set time frame. After a long week of extensive training, the Washington National Guard Homeland Response Force is trained, equipped, and ready to help if a disaster happens.
So we have the ability in disaster of some sort to send in search and extraction people to pull people out, survivors and casualties alike. We have a decontamination unit that can clean them and then get them to medical attention. And that medical attention can evacuate them either to a local hospital or release them. We have the ability to handle the remains of those people that become casualties in the event of an incident.
FSRT team. Our FSRT team's primarily job is to recover the remains and get them home so that we can identify them and process them and get them to their loved ones. The people out in wherever the scenario is, the rubble pile, kind of like what's going on right now in Washington with the mudslide, those victims that are out there in that scene, we would consider that a hot zone where we'd go and we'd mop up completely and we'd have our suits on, and then we go out and learn how to process those remains and bring them back in through Decon and then eventually take them to our port mortuary.
We came out today and we set up our perimeter. We assisted them with the search and extraction team personnel, and basically just secured their perimeter for them, which is something they've never had before.
The units are set up to only work for short periods of time, no more than about 12 hours. That's about how much equipment they carry, and plus it's just a very overtasking on the soldiers due to the suits that they're wearing. So when you get to work with other units, you learn battle rhythms, how to transfer the mission to another unit as they come in so that we can cover 24-hour operations.
Joint Incident Site Communications Capability Team provides interagency communications capability during a joint training exercise at Disaster City. The communications service is vital to the success of joint domestic operations.
What we try to do is a rapid deployment of our communication systems that provides commercial and NIPR Wi-Fi, as well as radio interagency capability, meaning we can tie in multiple agencies from FEMA to DOD and be able to cross-band them, connect them together. This allows them to have that command and control piece so we can see the common operating picture throughout the incident.